right, trying to get the camera straight. Okay, good evening, everybody. Religion 201, Religions of the World. Um, and hope you've had a great week. And as you wrap up this evening and begin, as we move forward into leaving religions of India and moving to the religions of China and Japan, excuse me, as the author Matthews shares that there's a real shift here in that the religions of India deal a lot, as you've written in your posts and seen somewhat probably in the quiz or different things like that in the videos that we've had this week, in terms of suffering, in terms of being detached from the material world and the advances of the kinds of things in a capitalistic society that those of us who live here in America are used to. China, particularly, and Japanese religions honor their ancestors. They have great reverence for the past. And where the religions of India are concerned with, kind of more of a suffering, almost a different view of the world. Japan has a more optimistic view, I guess is what I want to say, and seeing the world as primarily good. So we'll see some different things, you'll get a different feel for these religions. And in some instances, you'll see where the religions are very much tied to the culture, as in the case of Japan. And so I think you'll have an interesting week with that. Of course, as always, if you have any questions about, your posting or your papers, I've posted just to make sure you're aware, posted some suggested research paper topics, approximately, I believe it's 30 or so. And you're not bound to those by any means. You can select your own, but I thought I would just put some out there that might help you kind of get started. So please go ahead, and a couple of people have already selected topics, so please go ahead and pick something and then let me know what it is that you are selecting, so that I can kind of tell you whether, everybody else has the same thing, try to pick something else, or if it's really okay to go ahead and do that. Because we'd like to get, variety of topics, and there are plenty of things to talk about, obviously, in this, from the religions that we'll be covering. Okay. All right. Also in the postings, you'll notice that one of the things that I've encouraged you to do, and it's kind of interesting, but it's just something, I guess maybe it's a human nature thing or whatever, but sometimes when we're reading the questions, we tend to, and my observation is, and as with, in the past, not only for this course, but sometimes we answer the questions without getting to the specific intent of the question. So I would encourage you to read the question, reread the questions. Many of the postings have been fine, but I think that we can get a deeper understanding and a deeper engagement as we kind of talk back and forth online about what some of these concepts are. The idea is that we would almost provoke each other, I guess, and hopefully some things that I say to you, that you'll read, the comments that I've made, and these comments will provoke in you some thoughts, some thinking, something that maybe you haven't thought about in a long time, or something you've never thought about, and that it will encourage you to go a little farther and a little deeper, which I believe is basically the aim of higher education, that we shouldn't just skim along the surface, but that we should really seek a deeper understanding of others, and of course, ourselves. And that's a great life goal, I think, to try to seek to understand ourselves a lot better. What a tragedy, right? To live your life and be shallow or be skimming across the surface and not really dig into the depths, into the riches of the things that in which you are engaged and which affect your life and affect those around you and affect those who will come after you, and so forth, so on. So this is some of what I believe, the reason why we study religion, the reason why we engage, the reason why we are working on degrees and and doing undergraduate and graduate and postgraduate work, to begin to understand ourselves better and people around the world, because the world is such a changed place, very, very different place now than it was even a few years ago. And so we want to be very much engaged and leading the way in terms of the things that maybe we think need to happen in the world, and bringing everyone to the table, and gaining a better understanding of where everybody is coming from, and valuing the differences and the similarities that we share between all of us. Okay. All right. I think that we have covered everything. I've said everything that I primarily will want to say. Again, remember about the research paper topics. And primarily on the postings, what I'm doing is, if you are posting, then you gain the credit. Of course, if I see some major problem with your posting, then I'll alert you to that. But I'm mainly concerned that you go ahead and do the post, and that you try to engage as much as you can. Other thing, this is something else too that I wanted to say, is please, kind of engage other people. I notice sometimes we engage maybe one or two people, maybe somebody we know, or somebody we had a class with before, but just kind of owe it to yourself to try to spread the wealth, get out there and post and read other people's posts, maybe that you didn't read last week, so that you can get a more expanded sense of the ideas. I've learned just from reading what you wrote, some things I've not read or not encountered before, and I learn something every time I teach the course. So I want to encourage you to kind of do that as well. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions, any comments, any issues, email me, give me a ring. I'll be glad to respond to you. Okay. All right. Quizzes look good. For the most part, you got 3 opportunities to take the quiz, and it's not designed to flunk you. It's not designed to stump you or make your life difficult, but it's designed to make sure that you are, really engaging and really getting, the most out of this course. Okay. All right. Well, great. Best of everything to you this week. And have a good night.